Hi, fourth grade. I'm now going to read the rest of Antarctic Journal. December 20th, Palmer Station. I have learned that the largest animal on Earth, the 100-ton blue whale, eats only one of the smallest animals on Earth, krill, Euphausia superba. There are more krill in the seas than there are stars in the visible universe. Krill is one link in a simple food chain. Penguins, seals, and whales eat krill. In turn, the tiny shrimp-like krill eat phytoplankton, one-celled plants that bloom in the sea in spring and summer. My new friend, Carl, an oceanographer, said, "We ought to try eating krill, since so many animals thrive on it." In the biolab, we scooped krill into a jar. We got a small fry pan, then melted butter and cooked up the krill. Someone said, "Add garlic." Somebody said, "How about salt and pepper?" These were added. When the mixture looked ready, we ate it. "Tastes like butter," one person said. "More like garlic," another said. "Tastes like butter and garlic," Carl said. "Krill don't have their own taste," I concluded. I would like to try krill, wouldn't you? December 21st, Palmer Station. A storm raged for 3 days. A blast of wind smacked the main window with such force we thought a bomb had gone off. The storm rose in intensity in minutes. Looking out the big window, we see a solid wall of sleet and blowing snow. A friend and I checked the wind speed monitor a few hours ago. It was clocking 80 knots. We decided to sneak outside and see what 80-knot wind felt like in such high winds. It's against the rules to leave the protection of the station in such high winds. Nobody saw us leave. We were barely able to force the door open against the gale. Head down, face stung with driven sleet. I leaned with all my weight on the wind and did not fall over. Fearing I'd be blown away, I pressed my mittened hands on the side of the building. We crawled on hands and knees, lashed by pelts of frozen rain. In 5 minutes, we were back inside. Thinking of the penguins and their chicks on Litchfield, I can't help wondering how many will die of exposure to the cold and wet. I'm not sure if they're supposed to go out there. That was against the rules. It was unsafe. And there's the krill. Probably not that big. They're much smaller. They're small shrimp-like creatures. Christmas Eve, December 24th, Palmer Station. It was 3 a.m, bright outside, and I couldn't sleep. I crept downstairs, signed out, and took the flagged trail up the glacier. Dressed in a watchman's cap, 3 layers under my parka, and sorrel boots, I climbed in a stillness broken only by the noise of snow crushing under my soles. Greenish purple clouds covered the sky from edge to edge. The sea was the color of pewter. Near the top, I heard a cracking sound. A slap magnified 1,000,000 times in my ear. Another followed, then another. Echoes of sound, aftershock sizzled in the air. The sky began to glow with an eerie luminescence, as if someone in the heavens had switched on a neon light in place of the sun. That could be, in the north they call it Aurora Borealis, or the Northern Lights. That could be the Southern Lights. It's like a magnetic field that you can actually see, and it kind of glows. So it's kind of cool. I felt myself dropping straight down. A crack had appeared under me, a crevice in the glacier, Summer softening of the ice had thrown the pole settings off. I'm alive because the crack was narrow. I fell to my shoulders, my boot soles too wide to fit through the bottom of the crack. I stared below onto a blue-green hole cut with facets like a diamond. After a few deep breaths, I began to scramble out. Terrified the crack would keep growing, I moved slowly. It was an hour before I was on firm ice. The color of the sky shifted to blue-gray with streaks of yellow along the western horizon. To my horror, I saw a pattern of cracks zigzagging like fractured window glass across the glacier surface. I checked my watch. I'd been gone for 3 hours. I don't know why, but I didn't want anyone to rescuing me. I decided to crawl down the glacier on hands and knees. I felt my way inch by inch, rubbing the surface of the snow with my palms before making a move. Back before the hour someone would have come looking for me, I told the station manager what happened. Trained in glaciology, that's a scientist that studies glaciers, he went up to the glacier to reset the flags. I have a new weariness tonight, born of having been frightened out of my wits while watching one of the most beautiful skies I have ever seen. All right. That would be scary to fall through a crack of a glacier. February 16th, on the Polar Duke. Remember, that's the ship. I am along on the trip of the Polar Duke, north of Palmer, in Gerlach Strait. The crew and scientists trawl for krill using fine mesh nets dropped off the stern. Coming back, we see icebergs drifting south out of the Weddell Sea. The bergs originated hundreds of miles away and ride ocean currents. We sail close, but not too close, for beneath the waves is where the bulk of an iceberg is. Seawater splashes up on iceberg shores, shaped by years of wave action. Sunlight strikes gleaming ramparts that shine with the rainbow colors. Erosion works at the ice, creating caves and hollows, coves and inlets. Penguins and seals hitch rides on icebergs. Gulls and other seabirds rest on high points. One iceberg collides in slow motion with another. The smaller one topples, rolls, and heaves like a dying rhinoceros. Emerald seawater mixes with spray drenching its surfaces. I yearn to ride an iceberg like a penguin or a gull, touching its frozen sides, drifting slowly on the waves. I draw them, but I can't capture their splendor. March 12th, winging home. Before leaving, I collected, with permission, a sterile penguin egg that would never hatch. I made room for it in my suitcase by giving a lot of my clothes away. The airline lost my bag in Miami. I told the airline people that I had to have it back, pleading, begging. It has a penguin egg in it, I said. They glanced at each other and eyed me funny. Fortunately for me and them, they found my bag. The egg reminds me of my trip to a place where penguins raise downy chicks, krill swam in numbers greater than the stars in the sky, whales have rights, and icebergs drift in graceful arcs across southern ocean swells. At home, I'll look out at the desert landscape and remember the Antarctic desert, the last great wilderness on Earth. So Antarctica actually is called an Arctic desert, or Antarctic desert, because it really doesn't rain that much. It's not a desert like we would think, like a hot desert with sand, but it doesn't get a lot of participation. It's just a lot of ice, and whatever snow there is kind of just stays there. So that's why it's called an Antarctic desert. Would you like to go to Antarctica? If I had the opportunity, would I go on an Antarctic journey? I think so. I like to see new things, so I think I would. I'd love to see the wildlife. I'd love to see the glaciers. I would definitely follow the rules. I wouldn't want to be in danger at all. The reason why I'd be kind of afraid to go, I'm afraid to be really cold, but I think if I put on a bunch of layers, I think I could handle it. What do you guys think? Okay, talk to you soon.